is better than your best day out in that world. I remember some of my high days in the world, and some of my worst days over here is better than my high days. You say, well, how do you know, Pastor? Because on my high days, even though I had a good time, I enjoyed myself, I woke up with a hangover the next morning. Well, I broke before I went out. I was a poor, broke man. But that morning, I realized, brother, that wasn't no fun. Then you tell yourself, I ain't going to do that no more. Then when third Friday come around, turn around and what? You do it again. And you realize you can't stop yourself until Jesus come in and give you power over that old thing and take it from you. How many realize that? Can't help it.
Welcome, come with me.
Let me talk to you nice folks that don't go out. Y'all didn't go out tonight. Y'all didn't drink. Y'all went to church. So gossip. The preacher preached on gossip that day. You felt bad, didn't you? And then you went home and said, well, I ain't going to gossip no more. Then the first thing you know, here come that brother or that sister with the hot stuff in the community. And before you know, you're right back in it. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing working at Adam. He just works on some people more extreme, brother. Orange sunshine was yours just was you. But it's the same Adam working. The same one sit on the porch and gossip. It's the same one. Same one dips snuff. Nobody dips nothing and chew the back. So I'm not talking to nobody back here. Nobody ever did that. Nobody never smoked a cigarette. Nobody never did that. Nobody never did that. But my point is, it's the same thing working. So when Jesus comes, he comes to clean up the whole man. Get us out of that state and give us a sanctified, holy, clean slate. So now you get rid of all the violence. He get rid of all the night hopping. He get rid of all the other stuff. He clean up the front porch, the back porch. He clean up the nightclub. He clean up all that other perversion and all that other stuff going on. He cleans it all up. Because he hit the tree at the root. He rid it out. He brings us out of hell and put us in a heavenly state. Is that right? He raised us up together, make us sit together where? It doesn't matter where you came from, it's where you are right now. Now he tells us to abide in it. Is that right? If you abide in me and my word do what? Abide in you, govern your life, you're going to have this state all the time. You're going to bring forth what? Fruit, and your fruit going to remain. And this earth is going to be people that God done brought forth fruit. Now look what he said the state going to be. I want you to get that fourth verse, because that's good news. See, I'm going to wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall be any more pain. Don't that sound pretty good? Yes, sir. That's heavenly. See, I'm giving you the heavenly, but we're going to talk about the other side. The other side we're going to see real quick, opposite. Let me get you the fifth verse, brother. Pain for the former things are what? Passed away. That's this earth this state that man is in going to be passed away. It's going to be new. It's going to be inhabited in righteousness. Just like the days of Noah. Remember, he destroyed the antediluvian world? He destroyed the whole world. Everything died. So this ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing new. This happened before. It happened with the antediluvian world. And 8 souls were saved because he just took them and he had mercy on them and put them in the ark. And that's why he said when Jesus comes, it's going to be just like it was in the days of Noah. It's going to be the same situation, just repeating again. History always repeats itself. But this time, he ain't going to put them in the ark, and they're going to come out and get a vineyard, start making wine, and get drunk. Ain't nobody going to look on their daddy's nakedness and get all caught up in old sexual perversions and all that. All that ain't going to happen no more. That's what happened to Noah, didn't it? They came back out of the ark, but what they did, they came back out with the same carnal nature. Even though God saved them from the antediluvian world, when they came out, this old man was still alive. You know what happened? Because when they got on the ark, all the serpent came too. that nature came with them. Even though God protected them from the flood of the world, the nature wasn't dead. That's why Jesus had to come. The nature was so he got saved. You would think after man just got saved from a 40-night, 40-day flood, you would think after Hurricane Ida, everybody in Houma would have been sanctified after that. After the pandemic, they would never go back to Mardi Gras hollering, Mr. Throw me something. You would think everybody in the world would have been saying, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And you can tell you, you're right, Brother Bogan, got worse. That's why I learned something preaching. You can't scare people out of sin. And but one way to get out of sin, you got to love them out of sin. That's why Jesus didn't bring the hammer. He brought love. You can scare people. People ain't scared of hell. I remember you wasn't scared of hell. I remember I wasn't scared of hell. I told him, I said, hell below, everybody going to go because everybody do wrong. That's what my thing in the world was. And he said, okay, you Mr. Bad Boy. And when he turned that fire up, Lord have mercy. I really know you're a devil can holler, have mercy fast. Is that right? Boy, I was so glad that Jesus found me. I was lost in darkness. Oh, yeah, you can talk big and arrogant if you want to. Come on, but God bail you out. And that's why you ought to be glad about your salvation. I like what we have said. Everybody want to testify. You ought to want to shout, testify, all that. You know, you have to wait on each other. That's right. Because let me tell you, you're a blessed person. You are a blessed human being. I know we could use a little more money, use a little help on little vital arthritis, bodies. Sometimes kids don't act right, things don't, but that ain't nothing compared to not having Jesus. There's nothing but my prayer every morning, Lord, don't take your spirit, don't let your dread make me afraid. You know what that means? Whatever I got to go through, don't let it make me bag up, become weary and well-doing. And don't take your spirit. That's what Job told him. Lord, two things you do. Don't take your spirit from me. And don't let what I go through make me want to bag up or change my attitude with you. Pray that every day. Pray it. You say, well, everything going good. Pray it while they're going good. So when things get tough, God already heard your prayer. Because sometimes things change. Is that right? Things can get testy. And you let the Lord, I still want to be a part of what you're about. Part of what you're doing in the earth. Is that right? See, look what he says in this fifth verse, Brother Roland. And we're going to move on. See, and so now he said, he that sat up on the throne said, behold, I make all things new. That's what he's talking about. That's what God is saying to him. And you got to remember he's talking to John on the Isle of Patmos when he'd been banished. So you got to see he was in a real tough situation. And then when you're in a tough situation, Sister Dara, you're wondering, Lord, what are you saying here? John was one of the beloved apostles of Jesus, close to him, but man, they tried to boil him in oil and kill him, and he wouldn't die. And then he said, well, we can't kill him. They couldn't kill him because God wasn't going to let him kill him. They can't kill you. Boy, can't nobody kill you when God don't want you to die. God still got a revelation for him. So he couldn't die. So they put him on the Isle of Patmos. They said, we know what's going to happen out there. Them wild animals are going to eat him up in Patmos. He can't stand out there with all them creatures. And them animals, that man had so much of that Holy Ghost in. Them animals come over there and say, I see a little Jesus over there. I'm getting out of here. They couldn't stand to get close to John. You know how John died? Old age. He outlived most all the apostles. He outlived them all. Natural causes. They couldn't touch him. But so what God did, I'm going to show you the future, John. I'm going to show you your preaching, your labor, the sacrifice of being faithful ain't in vain. And every believer got to have that, Sister Tanya. He got to show you what you're going through and stand faithful to God and stand humble and stand in order and working like you're supposed to ain't in vain. But sometimes things can be so bad, it looks like, man, it looks like God done forgot about you. And you got to understand, John was battling with, he was in that situation. And then this man, while he's there, God appeared to him, and he falls for dead. That's the glory of God was so on a man. You can't stand look God eye to eye. The glory of God. Don't think you can. I want to see him on him. No. You talking about man? You want to look at it like that. But God, you just want him to let you see whatever part you can see, because you evaporate. You can't handle it. But he woke him up. Because he fell out when the presence of the Lord came that strong. Sometimes that happens to believers. Sometimes For the glory of the Lord, come on, you just blank out. I've seen people hit the floor like a log. Like a log, man. Just, you know they ain't faking. When you fake, you catch yourself, break yourself. You ever fake? Oh, you know, nobody never faked it. But the person fall like a log, that ain't no fake. Spirit just knock them out. Glory to God. God deal with them. That's it. I remember when I got the Holy Ghost, I tried to run. Fell right on that floor. 30 minutes, just speaking in tongues. But no, and when I woke up, the whole place full of people. Music going. Let me tell you something. You can't, when God dealt with him, he gave him this revelation. That's how this book came into the Bible. This is how this book is in the Bible. He received that on the Isle of Patmos. And the Lord appeared to him and showed him 1,000 years down the road of what's going to happen. So that man could go sleep in peace knowing that he's going to live again. That he's going to have everything. He went out a live soul. John went out a live soul. He went out a live soul. You know what he did? Just slept on out of here. Got on out of here. But he suffered enough. It was over. He finished his book. God got him on out of here. Remember Elijah? Elijah finished up. That whirlwind came. Took him up. Everybody ain't got to go out here shaking and quaking. Boy, you can live close enough to God. God just take you out of there. Took Moses' body and just hid it. They didn't know where, to this day, they don't know why Moses' body. That's And he says to you and I, in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye. Brother, you and I can live a life before the Lord, brother. You just be changed, get out of here. If we're here when he comes, that's what's going to happen. Our children, we don't know what day or hour he's coming, but our children can be taken out like that. Generations to come can be taken out like that. They ain't got to die in all this hell out here that the world going to be going through. See, because the world, we're going to talk about this world. We're going to talk about the years are coming right out of this book right now when we study hell. We're going to study the future, the past, the present, and the future. You're going to see what he's saying here. Look at this verse here, brother. We finish this at the end. He said, and he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, what? Right. For these words are true and what? That's what he's saying. These words are going to come to pass. That's what he's saying. They're true and faithful. Something faithful that ain't going to fail. Faithful is meaning it ain't going to hit and miss. It ain't going to never fail. It's true, first of all, and it's faithful. It's going to come to pass. That's why you and I don't have to worry. You don't have to worry. I'm telling you. We have to deal with what's in front of us each day. And he tells us to live like that. Take day one day at a time. Because what God said going to happen like he said it for his people. And you live close to him. Be led by the Spirit. Be governed by it. That's what it means. That's what he wanted John to know. It's true, and it's going to come to pass for you. And when he finished this, brother, it wasn't long. It came to pass. Because you got to remember, when a man go out of live soul, 1,000 years like one day. Under the altar. They cried out, how long, O Lord? How long before you come back and set up your kingdom? That's what they're saying. They're waiting on that great coronation. You read in Revelation about that wedding feast. Then you go back over, it's a chapter over, you read about that wedding feast. Is that right? Let me tell you what he's doing. He's waiting on the crowning of Jesus, Lord of lords and King of kings. See, when Jesus comes the second time and get his church together, he's going to rule and reign. And those men are going to rule and reign with him. What God is doing with you and I, he's just getting the rest of his bride together. So those that are alive and remain, we're just going to be chained, be caught up together to meet him in there. We'll be joined with them. That's all. But they waiting. They already finished their work. They overcame. They overcame. They God gave, white robe was given to them. So that's what he's saying here. It's true. First of all, it's the truth. And then it's faithful. That's what he's saying. You ain't no maybe, if, and, but. Person don't believe it. Some people don't think it, don't understand it, but it's still going to happen like he said it's going to happen. That's what I want everybody to understand. What you and I feel about this Bible, the way God tells us to live is the way God means it to live. Whether we decide we want to or don't want to, it's still going to have its results. It's still going to produce what God said it should produce. See, we're talking about heaven right now. Now go to 55th Psalms, 55, and we're going to talk about the state of hell first. Then we're going to talk about just practical life applications of it. And this is just doctrinal teaching. And we conclude what the state was is the opposite of what we just got through reading. That's the heavenly we just got through talking about. That's the realm above. That's what he saw, her coming down from above, from the throne room of God. Now look what he says in Psalms 55. I want to go there because in that psalm he gives a pretty good description. There's so many descriptions on hell. But this is a good one that will give you an idea of state. Then we're going to start watching, put these states in places and people and kingdoms and cities so you'll see how it works. So individually, collectively, nations, people. And then when we get to the New Testament, he starts talking about us as believers. He starts talking about the state. So this word is used both Old and New Testament. When you study hell, it's Old and New Testament. So ain't no dismissing it. It's understanding it, though. And now look at Psalms now, 55. Let me make a noise. All right. And let's go to the very first verse in that 55th Psalm. And the psalmist is writing here. See what he says in that 50. Make sure I got it, 55 and 1. See what he says. Look at that very first verse. He says, give ears to my prayer, O God, and hide not thyself from my supplication. See what he says in this verse? He says what? Attend unto me, hear me. I mourn in my complaint and make a noise. He begins to let you see here the state here. Mourning, and he says he make complaints. Let's go a little further. He said, because of the what? Voice of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked. Now, this is a state he's talking about. See, a state of suffering. For they cast iniquity upon me, and in wrath they what? Hate me. Now, look what he says about his condition. He says, my heart is sore pain within me, and the terror of death are fallen upon me. And the reason why I want you to understand this, because it's the state. It's the state of hell. And you know what they call war? War is hell because of the condition. And the reason why I want you to read this verse, I want to identify when we talk about hell, we're talking about a state, a realm beneath the realm of God. And you got to remember when he writes about this, from an Israel standpoint, they end up in this state because of unbelief. We're going to read later about nations that God allowed to punish them for their disobedience. So he's talking about the state that they end up in. He's prophesying about it. He's praying about it. But the state that they had come to, we're going to read about when they were down in Babylon and Egypt and how they was, we'll read all that in a minute. But I want you to see when we talk about hell, we're talking about the state. See? And he's describing the state of suffering. Amen. And this was for disobedience. This was for their disobedience, their unbelief, an evil heart of unbelief. And they wouldn't accept the salvation. Go back to what we just read in Revelation. They wouldn't accept God. They wouldn't obey God. See, the righteous, what you're reading over there in Revelation, he was talking about the righteous, Brother Roller. He was talking about those that obtained to the resurrection of the dead, those that obeyed the gospel. We're talking about John, man of God. Is that right? So you see the difference. God ushered you into a different state. But here he's showing you the state of suffering. So when he used the word hell, that's what he's talking about. We read the definitions, a state of torment, suffering. And so when you're reading the Bible, when he uses this word hell, you're going to see what he's referring to over and over. Sometimes he uses figurative language, and we're going to go there in a minute, because we're going to get there. I know some thoughts in your mind going to come up. Let us follow the line through. I'm going to get to Lucifer and all that kind of stuff. We're going to find out about this old boy. We're going to find out who he lived, where he lived at. We get his address so we won't ever have to visit there. Amen? We done found out where God dwells. We know his address now. He dwells behind the veil of this old flesh. Is that right? He dwells in an elevated mind, a spiritual mind. To be spiritual minded is what? Life and peace. To be carnal minded is death. And you can put death and hell in there if you want to. Because that's what it produces. You don't believe me? Look at the world out there. James writes it this way. He makes it, whence come wars and fighting among you? Whence come war and fighting? Anytime you want to figure out where war and fighting come from, you ain't got to go look at nobody's address on their door. He say it comes from within ourselves. Where our mind is, what we dwell on, what we're meditating on, what we're thinking about, what we eat. Whence come war and fighting among you? He said it come of your own lust. Own lust and entice, human desire. And that is the truth. How many have got that revelation? Well, that's the first step. That's the first step of living in a heavenly place, is understanding what hell is. If you don't let God change his mind, you can come into this world in darkness and you can die in darkness. I think Solomon wrote it this way, and he said it's one of the most hard-rendering things for a man born into this world. For a man that comes into this world and never see the light. Never come to a knowledge and a saving knowledge of Jesus and got to go back. There are people, brothers and sisters, you and I done went to their funerals. I done buried folks, never seen the light. It's a sad funeral. Can't even lie and say they're going to heaven. You can't even put them near a resurrection. Sometimes they're your loved ones. They never seen it. If you don't see Christ, you never see light. He is the light. He is the light. He that has Christ have life. He that has not Christ have what? Point blank, you have no life. That's why I'm telling everybody over here, you don't ever have a reason to murmur and complain. Because you got light. You got Christ. On your bad day, you got a good day. That's on your most challenging week, you got a blessed week. Because you got life. You know, you and I can come into this world. I watch these trials sometimes, look in the eyes of some of these criminals they putting on there for, man, they never seen the light. Man without God is equivalent to a beast. You look at some of these hideous crimes, murders, perversion, and rape, and that's carnality. It's the fallen state. See, what happened about this pit, we'll get to the pit in a minute, and he calls it a bottomless pit. You know why he calls it a bottomless pit? Because there's no depth to where you keep falling. That's why I don't ever let hate, bitterness, jealousy build up in your heart. It's to keep you go low, low, low. You know, okay, say what they say it in the world, can't use it. But you can go low. How low? How low? You can go real low. Because when there's no foundation in your life, you just fall. Look, they look at little kids on death row, how you have committed murder. Well, what happened? These kids never got a foundation. Never got a foundation in their life. Sad, isn't it? A child with no foundation. And they commit some of the most hideous crimes on the planet. How does a child become a serial killer, mass murderer? How did that happen to the mind? What caused the mind to want to do it? The reason why I want to is because we got to be conscious of it. You see, what's happening in our society now, we become desensitized to it. It don't even shock us no more. Some of it don't even make the news no more. Most of it don't make the news but one day. You don't even hear about it no more. and you don't know it, it's desensitizing us to how low man done fell to. It's becoming common now. Common. Everything becomes so common now. And we don't understand what's creating all these disasters in our life, in the world, and why God won't stop it and build it. It's a bottomless pit. That's why you can't let the flush run. If you get a flush a foot, it'll take a yard. You give it a yard, it'll take a mile. And that's why that's why it's so important. When you find yourself in a heavenly place, in a good place in God, cherish that place. Keep your heart with what? All diligent, because out of it is the what? You got to keep it. You got to hide this treasure, and you got to protect it. See, some people think because God gives it to us and we got it, it's going to stay there. It's going to work. No, you got to hide treasure, right? Some of you got this good stuff, this good jewelry stuff. You better have you come a little safe or something in your house. Now, some of us got this stuff cheap. You can leave it on the counter, on the side of your bed. But some of that stuff y'all got, y'all better lock that stuff up. It's too precious. Because if you're careless with it, brother, you can lose it. Somebody will take it from you, and that's what the enemy tried to do. He tried to steal this treasure that's hid in your field. And what he steals, you don't know he's stealing your life, your elevated existence. I want you to see, the psalmist is writing about this fallen condition here because of the enemy, he says. Because of the enemy. See, because the enemy comes to steal, kill, and what? He tried to bring you down. That's what I'm talking about it. Don't let him bring you down. And you and I need to start looking around our environment, make sure, brother, we're above, not beneath. Look what he says. I just want to go to about